The following podcast contains movie spoilers and mature content, including graphic descriptions of violence. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome to Opening Kill, the podcast that dives deep into the chilling world of horror films. Every Thursday, we explore a different movie, from cult classics to modern masterpieces, uncovering behind-the-scenes secrets, analyzing themes, and sharing fun facts about your favorite horror films. Join us as we chat with filmmakers and fellow horror film fans to celebrate the fear in cinema. And now, the hosts of Opening Kill, Michael Doran and Brian O'Connor.
Here we are again, Brian.
Once again.
Yeah. Feels weird to be back already.
I know.
I was like, because we had that week off.
We did.
And now my body is now used to that.
Well, we used to do this every other week.
We did.
So that was kind of slipped back into that. Now it's like, no, we have another episode to do this week.
Buckle up.
Episode number 24. Wow. 2 dozen.
Yeah.
2 dozen
Look at
shows
you doing
here.
math on the fly.
I know, and math is usually hard.
Yeah.
So this week we are going to take on 1988's Child's Play. And Opening Kill superfan JC suggested this to us, and he's joining us. We're going to talk to him here in a little bit, and he will join the discussion on Child's Play. So a few weeks ago, one of my scare previews was The Ugly Stepsister.
I remember.
Yeah, this just came out on Shudder. It's body horror, which I'm normally not into, but I actually liked this as gruesome as this film is. All right. So it's basically a very dark twist on the Cinderella story.
Okay.
All right. It's about Elvira. She battles against her gorgeous stepsister in a realm where beauty reigns supreme. She resorts to extreme measures to captivate the prince amidst a ruthless competition for physical perfection. So it starts out with Elvira and her sister Alma and her mother. Her mother is marrying this nobleman, and he has a daughter from another marriage.
Right.
So they get married. The funny thing is they each think the other has money, and neither of them have anything.
Ooh, I love that.
So they get married, and now we have the 2 sisters and the stepsister, and the old man dies like pretty quick. He has a heart attack at dinner and keels over, and that's
Perfect.
that. And then everybody realizes there's no money. Nobody has any money. So they decide that the way to get out of this is for Elvira to marry the prince. That has been her dream because she's had a book of poetry that he wrote and she's been reading it. And so I know it's kind of strange. So her dream was to marry the prince. Well, the prince is now going to have a ball, and he's inviting all of the lovely maidens from around the country to attend. But her mother tells her she's too ugly, so we need to make some changes.
Nice. That's
So
nice.
she
What a
goes through
kind
some very arcane plastic surgery. She gets a nose job, literally with a chisel.
I
And
did see that part in the
it's-
trailer, I think, and it made me like,
Yeah.
I don't like nose stuff. There's certain body parts where I really can't handle. It's like nose, fingers,
Yeah.
and like kneecaps.
Okay, so there's no kneecaps,
Okay.
but the next thing they want to do is give her false eyelashes, longer eyelashes. Dude, they literally sew these eyelashes. They're like on a little band, and they sew them into the eyelids. And so the cinematography is great, but it's like close up. You see the needle punching through and little
Awesome.
streams of blood coming out, and she's screaming the whole time because their version of ether that they gave her to kind of, dull the pain, not so effective.
Yeah.
And so she's awake through all of this, as she was with her nose being broken. So, and then her mom has her swallow some tapeworm eggs. So she grows.
Well, that's a great way to lose weight.
lose the weight.
You know what? Her mom might be onto
Yeah.
something.
And it's totally disgusting. Anyway, she goes through all this. She goes to a finishing school and, learns. They also rip her braces out in a not so gentle way too. So the stepsister also wants to compete at the ball
course.
and win. So anyway, fast forward, and Elvira ends up at the ball. The prince is smitten with her and basically dancing with her. The stepsister was disqualified from going to the ball because Elvira caught her having sex with the stable boy out in the horse stall.
Hell yeah.
So she went and told her mom, who went out there and said, "You're now going to be a servant, you whore. You can't have anything." So
God forbid a girl have a hobby.
I know. Right? So at night, her dead mother comes to her as a ghost, and that's the fairy godmother element of the Cinderella story.
Perfect.
And all of a sudden, these caterpillars start weaving this silken dress, and she gets the ball dress, and she gets all made up. She shows up at the ball. She's got a veil, so no one can recognize her. And the prince immediately twirls away Elvira and goes and dances with her. But just like in Cinderella, she's got to leave by midnight, or her coach will turn into a pumpkin and all this stuff. And so
hold on. Cinderella, the person who is Cinderella in this, fucks a stable boy?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fun.
It's a different
That's
take
a fun
on this.
twist.
So she, midnight, the clock starts chiming. She takes off. And just like in Cinderella, she loses a slipper. And so the next day, the prince is going to go looking for the girl who can fit her foot into the slipper. So Elvira gets home that night and immediately goes to fight her to get the slipper that she was wearing, so she can be the one to,
Of course.
She realizes that her feet are way, way too big for the slipper. So she has the bright idea to take a hatchet and chop off her toes so that it will fit in. Unfortunately, she did the wrong foot. So, yeah, right.
What an idiot.
So the mom comes down and, oh, no. And mom hacks off the other toes. So now she has no toes. And, she goes to bed. Next morning, she hears the trumpets sounding the arrival of the prince. And he's in the village. And so she can only crawl now because she can't walk. She crawls down the stairs, ends up rolling and falling down the stairs, chips her tooth, breaks her nose, looks pathetic, looks up to see the stepsister in the gown smiling at her. And she goes out and the prince takes her. And that's that. That's the end of the story.
Love that.
So it's great.
That's
great.
feel good.
It's disgusting. There are some very stomach turning moments in this thing, especially with the tapeworm near the end when they're pulling it out of her. And it's like, yeah.
So I heard rumors that there's a wrecked penis in it.
There is.
Like erect.
Yes.
Nice.
You see
Is it the stable boy?
It is the stable boy.
Hell yeah.
And she's kind of bent over a bale of hay, and you're seeing parts there too. And then you see him like, moving towards her. And
Nice.
and then Elvira is in the back just watching it and like, what is happening here?
Romance.
So, yeah.
Cool. Okay. Great.
So what did you see, Michael?
I didn't see that. I saw Arcadian. It stars Nicolas Cage and the boy from It who plays Bill. He's great.
Yeah.
But this one is kind of interesting. So it's a creature feature. It's honestly basically, it feels very much like A Quiet Place.
Mm-hmm.
So there's these alien creatures. They come out at night. Blah, blah, blah. So as far as the story goes, not much different. It doesn't really do anything unique.
Yeah.
But the cool thing about this movie is the creatures. And I still haven't decided if I like their design or hate them because it's very unique.
Okay.
Very cool, I think. Every time I'm like, I liked it. And then I'm like, no, you don't. So I'm very conflicted on the design, but it is at least unique. And that is enough of a reason to see it.
Mm-hmm.
Nicolas Cage doesn't do much.
Right.
Not very Nicolas Cagey in it.
Okay.
But the creatures, at least they're unique.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Very cool.
Good. Friday the 13th celebrated its 45th anniversary.
Jeez.
I know. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
And to commemorate that, Jason Universe released a new logo. And it's very, very cool. And also, they released a striking new motion video as well. The reveal features a freshly designed Jason mask and original music composed exclusively for the project by Harry Manfredini, who did a lot of the Friday the 13th music. The logo itself showcases a bold machete metal finish, perfectly capturing the brutal spirit of the series. So, and of course, there's renewed excitement in Friday the 13th because of the TV show that is coming out called Crystal Lake. So we're expecting more and more things to be coming out for Friday the 13th.
All right. That's the one that just refuses to die.
Even
Even though it tries to die
It does.
because the creators can't get along.
Right.
But good for Friday the 13th.
I think they got to a point now where they can move forward and everybody's at harmony with each other or something. I don't know.
About time.
We'll see.
I can't imagine being that petty with like something like Friday the 13th.
I know.
Like, just let the people have it.
Yeah.
Like, it's not about you.
Right.
Well, I saw a trailer for a movie that this is honestly one of my favorite trailers I've ever seen. I think it is done beautifully. So it's for The Long Walk, which is a Stephen King adaptation. Have you read this book?
I have read this book.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have not, but I know you're a Stephen King guy. So it stars some incredible people. It's got David Johnson, who was amazing in Alien Romulus. He played the brother who was the robot.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right.
And it also stars Cooper Hoffman. Mark Hamill is in this. Judy Greer. So a lot of really talented people. The plot revolves around, it looks like there's this walk that you join it, and you either, I think you win a huge sum of money at the end of it, but if you stop walking or fall below 3 miles an hour, you die. And it's just how it is cut together, I think, was really, really cool. It starts off, feels very much like camaraderie within this group. They're like, oh, yeah, we're going to do a walk. It's going to be awesome. And then the tone changes at the drop of a hat. And when it changes, it gets very heavy very quickly. So I love the trailer. I've watched it like 5 times.
The most disturbing thing in that trailer was watching one of the kids near the end where his ankle is completely twisted and he's walking. Oof.
Yeah.
The book, the novel, was intense.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
I like how simple the plot is. At least it appears to be. I don't know if there's like big twists and turns in it, but I like how just straightforward it seems to be.
Right.
And I'm like, yeah, I'm on board. So I'm really excited for that.
Yeah. That's going to be cool. Been looking forward to that for a while. All right, Child's Play is our movie this week. Just the Facts, written by Don Mancini, John LaFia, and Tom Holland. I had forgotten this was a Tom Holland film. Tom Holland also directed, which explains why Chris Sarandon was cast, because, of course, Tom Holland wrote and directed Fright Night.
Right.
Chris Sarandon was the vampire Jerry Dandridge in that. It also stars Catherine Hicks, who starred in Star Trek IV: The Voyage Home, and it was Leonard Nimoy who suggested her for this movie. And who else do we have in this? Alex Vincent and Brad Dourif. It was released November 9th, 1988. $44 million at the box office, made for about $10 million. They began filming January 7th, 1988, wrapped up March 5th, and it was shot in Chicago. It has a runtime of about 87 minutes.
Yeah, it's nice and brisk.
Nice and
quick.
brisk. And joining us on the Opening Kill podcast, he's the one that suggested this film. He's a big fan of this franchise. It is JC. Welcome to the podcast.
Hello, Michael and Brian. I'm glad to be here.
We are glad to have you here. Tell me your experience with this film. When did you first, do you remember when you first saw it?
Oh, yes. I was in a Blockbuster.
What's that,
I
JC?
know,
Is that
right?
a big...
Sounds magical.
Sounds
It is the most magical place in the world. You can get video games and movies there. Only problem is, last one left is in Bend.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of a drive for us, I guess.
Right.
Other people, a little bit further.
Yes.
But I remember walking down the aisle and I saw the cover. It's with Chucky, the big scissors, and the Jack in the Box coming up, and he's about to just chop the head off. I stared at that for probably a minute straight. I was 3 or 4 years old.
Perfect.
And I could not get my eyes off of it. And I would not stop asking my parents a million questions about this movie. Obviously, they'd seen it, and they're like, there's no way this 3 or 4 year old is going to watch this movie.
Right.
We can't let them watch it. But I was persistent.
Oh, my gosh.
And they ended up renting all 3 of them, 1, 2, and 3, and sat me down in one night, and I watched all 3 of them
geez.
back to back.
Well, this explains a lot about you.
Oh, it really does. It really does, Brian. And that's actually what deterred me from horror movies. And then, kind of similar to you, my uncle was a big horror fan.
Okay.
And he made me watch all kinds of stuff.
That's incredible.
And it
I
just,
love that.
after that, Jeepers Creepers was one of the first ones he showed me.
Great
Fantastic movie.
Great movie.
The remake of The Hills Have Eyes. Not
Oh,
even
that's
the original. The remake, which is,
Way
I was
worse.
probably like 7 or 8.
Oh.
Again, way too young for all of these movies. But
Damn.
Uncle Danny, shout out to you. I'm still watching them. You can't stop me.
Hell yeah.
Nice. Nice. Very cool. Well, if you're not familiar with this movie, in a nutshell, it takes place in the 80s, obviously. Serial killer Charles Lee Ray is fatally wounded by police. He uses a voodoo ritual to transfer his soul into a good guy doll named Chucky. The possessed doll ends up in the hands of 6-year-old Andy Barkley, who quickly discovers that his new toy has a murderous mind of its own. As Chucky embarks on a bloody rampage to eliminate those who wronged him and find a human body to permanently inhabit, Andy's mother and a detective must unravel the truth before it's too late. And that's kind of it. That's
Yeah.
what happens in this movie.
That is exactly what happens.
It's a very cool opening sequence.
Oh, yeah.
Charles Lee Ray, known as the Lakeshore Strangler.
Do you know how they got his name, by the way?
Tell me.
So it's derived from the names of Charles Manson, Lee Harvey Oswald, and James Earl Ray.
Of course.
So they put them all together, and there we go.
Perfect.
Yep.
And it fits.
It does.
It totally fits. So this guy's running through the streets of Chicago, being chased by Detective Mike Norris, played by Chris Sarandon. This is great. Ray's getaway driver just abandons him.
Oh, pieces out.
Guy's name is
Eddie Caputo.
Eddie Caputo, played by Neil Giantoli. And yeah, just leaves his ass there.
The one thing that blows my mind with that first scene when he's running away, he gets shot, what, like 2 or 3 times?
Oh, yeah.
You don't see almost any blood. Like you could see where the gunshot wounds are. There's a little bit around there, but later on in the movie, that doll is bleeding all over the place.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that always blew my mind.
So he gets chased into a toy store by the detective, and that's where he is fatally shot. And he's not dead yet. He gets to be able to transfer his soul, but his body dies, which gives us
Opening kill.
And this happens about 3 minutes in, and he's shot, multiple times, and he's bleeding out, and he basically ends up next to this pile of good guys dolls.
Well, he falls in
Yeah.
the most dramatic way possible, knocking down the entire shelf.
Such a drama queen.
So dramatic.
Oh
Oh
my
my God. You were shot? Like, okay, keep it together a little bit. And he also, I don't know if you noticed this, as he's walking in the toy store, there's a good guy's like machine gun on the wall.
Right.
Which is wild.
Yeah,
Like, what is
Nice.
the good guys?
yeah.
To have a machine gun,
They got
to have
guns
like a doll.
and hammers.
They've got
and
it all.
saws. They do everything.
Yeah, this is like a hardware store guy.
Yeah, it
apparently.
really is. Who is armed? So,
Very armed.
so he ends up transferring his spirit, his soul into this Chucky doll, and you got some pretty interesting effects. You've got some lightning going on, and the store basically explodes and
Oh, yeah.
blows up and everything, and the detective is able to get out.
But he gets blown the fuck up too. Like
Yeah.
he has this cool wire stunt where he gets pulled like way back.
Right.
It looks great.
Exactly. Butter knife or butcher knife?
This is a butcher knife for me.
Yeah.
Like, the whole sequence is iconic.
Yeah.
Like, is it a little goofy? Yeah, but who gives a shit? Like,
It's
that's
fun.
what this is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just enjoy this ride.
Butcher knife as well?
Oh, 100% butcher knife.
Okay, there you go.
I mean,
Butcher knife.
with the explosion going all over the top like that,
Yep.
you can't beat it.
No,
I mean, who
you
doesn't
can't.
like a good explosion?
Exactly. So yeah, the explosion destroys the shop, and but the doll survives, which is good
course.
news, of
Yeah.
course. So the next morning, 6-year-old Andy Barkley, who is played by Alex Vincent,
Who is really good.
very good actor.
He's amazing.
This kid was what, 6 or 7 years old, something like that. I don't know how old he really
Yeah,
was.
I think they said he was 6.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Yeah. Like, and he has to carry this movie.
Yeah.
So, yeah, props to him.
Absolutely. And it's his birthday when he wakes up, and his mother's in bed. His single mother, Karen, played by Catherine Hicks.
And I love that, like, on his birthday, he destroys the kitchen to make her breakfast.
This was pretty funny.
If my kid, if I'm sleeping and my kid comes in with that, I'm not coming out. I'm like, we're done.
Yep.
Go away from me. Day is never going to start.
Right.
Like, no, thank you.
You're saying you wouldn't eat a burnt toast sandwich with a pound of butter in the middle of it? I mean, it looked pretty good to me.
I mean, when you word it like that, it does sound pretty nice.
Right.
It was mostly the cereal that he just spills everywhere,
Everywhere.
that made me want to scream.
Yep.
I'm like,
And the extra 3 scoops of sugar.
yeah. That was a nice
needed.
touch.
And he just wants toys for his
Yeah,
birthday.
normal
and
kid stuff.
She doesn't have a lot of money. She's a single mom, works in a department store. So his first present, it's clothes. And I don't know if they're hand-me-down clothes that she got at a thrift store or new clothes, but it's a pair of jeans, and he's so disappointed. So then he gets another present, and it is a toy. But he wanted the good guy's doll. He didn't want anything else. But she didn't have enough time to save up the money. So he did not get that right there.
The one thing I found just mind-boggling about this kid is he's sitting there making the breakfast, right? And he looks over, and it's the first time he sees the good guy doll. And he obviously saw the present was already there.
Yeah.
He had no clue about this doll.
Right.
And he goes and wakes up his mom and then brings her out, and he expects it to be this good guy doll.
Right.
One, do you know if the mom even knows
Probably not.
about the good guy doll?
Right.
She would have to be in the know.
Yeah.
When,
and-
you know, kids are always more in the know than their parents.
yeah.
So he just expected this out of
There
nowhere.
Unrealistic expectations.
There
Come
are
on.
a few little continuity things that happen in this movie. We'll touch
We
on
were
it.
watching one right before we started.
we kind of were, but it doesn't take away from the movie.
No, not
It's
at all.
still-
It
it's still
honestly,
so much
it might
fun.
enhance it.
It could.
Like-
It could. Yeah. So his mom is at work, and his coworker comes running up to him and says, "So that good guy's doll that you want?" She goes, "Yeah, I just can't afford it." "Well, there's a peddler out in the alley who's selling it like cheap. You can go get it."
Remember toy peddlers?
Yeah.
Where do those exist?
They don't anymore.
No, they do, but they're online and they mark it up.
Oh,
anymore.
that's what it is.
Yeah, they're way less fun nowadays. Actually, I was like, oh, I would love to see a toy peddler. And no,
Right.
they're not fun.
So they go down there and they make a deal with this guy, and unaware, of course, that the doll, that particular doll, is housing the spirit of the serial killer. So, yeah, there it is.
But you know,
But she's got it for cheap. I think she
Cheap,
got it
yeah.
for like $30 or something.
it's not bad.
It's like normally $100, so pretty good discount on it. Except she doesn't know what she's getting.
Well, I mean, if it's like it's hard to get as like the Cabbage Patch Kids were or something like that. You know, what's a little serial killer inside
Well,
it?
and that was part of the inspiration, that Tom Holland took was the Cabbage Patch Kid craze and the mobs at the stores and all that for these dolls. And that's kind of where this came from. One of the reasons it came to be the way it is here.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So he gets the doll and he's thrilled. He introduces it to his mommy after he unwraps it. And yeah,
And all the good guy dolls have different names.
They do.
which is kind of cute, I guess.
Mhm.
I don't know, maybe a little creepy. But yeah, his is Chucky, and it's
dude's name is Charles.
Yeah,
So,
so
goes
wonder-
by Chucky.
wonder who it is.
Yeah.
So do you think in that whole time when he's bleeding out in the store, do you think he's looking through all the names trying to find one that's closest to his name? He's like, oh, Chucky, I go by Chucky sometimes. And he grabs that one to put it into.
We may never know the answer to that.
Yeah, that's a
That's a good
question.
point.
Yeah.
Or like, are their names even listed? Like, is it just one of those things like you don't know till you open it and it talks to you?
Little surprise box.
Yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
fun.
Right?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, mom, after she gets home with the doll, has to go back to work because her boss is kind of a prick and won't let her spend the evening with her son. So her friend, coworker Maggie, who the boy refers to as Aunt Maggie,
Yep.
says, "I'll go babysit. It'll be fine. We'll have fun." And so she agrees. And this is where the fun begins. So the doll wants to watch the 9 o'clock news. And that's what,
Well, he's on it.
he's on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's on it. And that's what the little boy, Andy, tells Aunt Maggie. "Aunt Maggie, Chucky wants to watch the 9 o'clock news." And she's like, and she had just told him it was time for bed.
Yeah.
So in her eyes, this is a ploy for him to stay up later and not have to go to bed. She doesn't buy into it. And she picks up the doll, picks up, Andy, and off they go to bed.
Yep.
Except Chucky doesn't stay in bed.
He is much like a child and gets out of bed
Yeah, very much so.
and goes to do what he wants.
Aunt Maggie is sitting in the kitchen, and all of a sudden the TV starts blaring, scares her to death. And there is Chucky sitting there watching the evening news.
Son of a
And
bitch.
she immediately assumes that Andy had gotten up and put the doll there, turned on the TV to scare her, and now he's in trouble again.
I know. This poor kid, like he goes through the ringer in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they're making him out to be a full schizo.
Yeah,
They
like
really
they're
are.
really fucking gaslighting him.
Yeah. As Maggie puts Andy to bed, Chucky springs to life and starts stalking her through the apartment. And there's a point where the mom actually calls her and the phone startles her. And she's like, "Hello?" And the mom thinks, "Oh no, what's wrong? What's going on?" And she goes, "Oh, nothing. It's fine. I just scared myself." And
Yeah.
okay. And talks to her, hangs up with her. And it's not long after that Chucky catches up to her in the kitchen. He's got this like hammer like tool,
Yep.
and he just whacks her in the forehead, sticks in the forehead. She flails backwards and goes flying out the kitchen window, which is 3 or 4 stories up, I think.
Pretty high.
It's pretty high up.
Yeah.
and she immediately hits a car, like a van or something that's parked out in front, and that is the end of Aunt Maggie, and that is death number 2.
It has a cool little effect where like the car kind of blows up too.
Little bit.
It's great.
Little
They
bit.
just really love their explosions.
They
in
do.
this
They
movie, don't they?
do.
And I appreciate that.
Yeah.
They really go for it.
So mom gets home from work. She's taking the bus.
Well, there also is this part where with Maggie, there's some spilt flour.
Right.
And there's footprints
Right.
that are small.
Right.
So, yeah.
That is true. That's on the kitchen counter. And mom gets off the bus. The bus pulls out of the way so she can see across the street. And she sees all the police cars, the ambulance, and everything's taped off with crime scene tape. She goes running into the apartment, and that's where she meets Detective Mike Norris, played by Chris Sarandon. And he immediately takes her away from Andy and just tells her what's happened, that her friend is dead. She freaks out. And then he starts to kind of insinuate that this might be Andy, and he's starting to interrogate him because they see these tiny footprints, child-sized footprints on the counter.
And the soles match,
Right.
Because he has good guy's shoes,
Right.
So,
Yep.
same, yeah.
So mom gets defensive and tells him to leave her son alone, and basically kicks everybody out of her house, which it's kind of funny. The police just kind of they just left. I mean,
They just acquiesce to her request. They're like, sure,
normally I would think,
I guess we're done here.
Yeah. And she just walks right past all those cops. No one even stops her or
No.
anything.
Nope.
She just goes straight up to her apartment, like all the way to the door, and before anyone says anything to her.
Yeah. They're not very efficient.
Not at all. Not at all. So Andy, before they leave, though, Andy comes back out and says, I know who was on the counter. It was Chucky.
Yeah.
Because he had seen the bottom of Chucky's shoes, and they had the flour on them. And they think he's, making it up, obviously. It's not going to be a doll that comes to life, right?
Right. They're like, we need to institute this kid.
That's just crazy.
Yeah. So the next day, Chucky basically manipulates Andy into skipping school. His mom drops him off. He pretends to go in, and then he comes right back out. He's got Chucky, and they are going to a rundown part of town. And this kind of made me wonder too. He gets on the train.
Yeah.
They just let this little kid on the train, no questions asked, and
they let him walk right out the front door of the school too. It was
It's
what,
the 80s.
a couple minutes. I was about to say that's how you know this movie was made in the 80s. There is no way you're getting out of an elementary school that fast.
No.
Especially toting around a doll that's almost the same size as you.
pretty much.
When I first watched it, I was like, "Oh, there's no way someone would let their kid bring in this like giant doll." And you look, and another kid walks behind him, and he has another good guy doll. I'm like, "Okay, never mind. I guess they're just letting
Everybody
everyone
has them.
Everyone's got to bring one."
Yep. So he ends up in a neighborhood, a very rundown neighborhood, a very rundown abandoned apartment building. And this is the hideout of Eddie Caputo, who was Charles Lee Ray's partner who left him at the scene. And now Chucky is going back for revenge because he got left behind.
Yep.
So he goes in, and he's kind of stalking this guy too. And he was asleep when Chucky went in.
Yeah.
And actually, Andy had gone to go pee. And when he came back, Chucky was not on the bench where he left him. He had gone literally running into the house, because you see the camera. It's from his point of view, just running.
That is one of my favorite shots.
Isn't
of the whole
that
movie.
great?
So good.
Like I could just imagine him just like breathing real heavy, just like adding in just the goofiest thing, and just this little doll just bolting into this abandoned house. It just
Exactly.
cracks me up.
It's iconic.
Exactly. Yep. So he makes noise, and Eddie wakes up and pulls out the gun. He's kind of going around the house, and in the meantime, Chucky sneaks into the kitchen and turns the gas on in the stove. And he's really freaking out. And then he hears Andy calling for Chucky, and he's got the gun, and he sees it's a little kid out the window, and he puts his gun down. He's like, Jesus, oh my God. And then he goes into the kitchen and fires the gun.
Yep.
And it ignites the gas. And what? Another explosion.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
Boom.
Can't get enough of them.
Eddie Caputo blown up for kill number 3.
God, I love these explosions. They're so good.
Fantastic.
And they look good. They're well done.
They are well done. This building, I mean, I think it was a real building that they got permission to demolish, because that maybe it was going to be demolished anyway, I would think. And they let these pyrotechnicians come in and light it up and let it go, because it crumbles. It's a brick building, and it just goes.
Yeah.
Money well spent, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
hell yeah.
Yeah. definitely. So Andy is found near the explosion, and this is where he is now taken to the psychiatric hospital for observation.
Because they think he blew up a house.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Yeah. And the detective still is suspicious of him pushing Maggie out the window or doing whatever because of the footprints. So he's now institutionalized, and he continues to insist that Chucky is alive, but no one is paying attention to him. They think he's sick, and his imagination has gotten the best of him.
Yep.
So no one's listening to him.
No.
Yeah.
Just lock him up.
Yep.
I love when he's interrogating Chucky and he's just got him on and he just starts giving him body shots like he is like the world welterweight champion.
Hell yeah.
Just going to town on this doll. And they're just looking at him like, there's something wrong with this kid.
Yeah.
For sure.
Definitely. Then back at home, a desperate Karen, the mother notices that Chucky's doll box is missing its batteries, even though the doll has been talking. So now there's this realization, like, what is happening? There's no batteries in this doll, but it's still talking because it's got pre-recorded sayings that it does. We probably should have said that it is a talking doll, but it's alive. And when it's alive talking, it's a lot different from the pre-recorded, "Hi, my name is Chucky.
Wanna play?"
Yeah, it's not that.
Yeah, it's a little different.
Heidi ho.
Heidi ho.
So she confronts the doll. She's shaking the doll, commanding it to speak, and it's not doing anything. So then she lights a fire and threatens to throw Chucky into the fire. That lights him up because he's like, "You bitch.
You fucking slut." Just fucking
And the flailing.
flailing.
Oh, gosh.
Fantastic.
Biting her. Like,
Oh, he takes a big chunk out of
Oh,
it. Well,
yeah.
not a chunk, but he leaves bite marks in her arm. And
his face during this scene,
yeah.
I love it so much.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He
because isn't that the first time it really contorts
Yeah,
that
yeah,
you
this
actually
is
get
his
to
first
see
time
it?
he looks
It's
different.
the real reveal. Of,
Yeah.
Yep. It is. And so there's a fight around the whole living room here, and then he escapes. And this is where Michael and we were watching this because this building has an elevator.
Yep.
It's one of those old style cage elevators.
Yeah, where you can see
Right.
you can see it going down. Like,
So Chucky runs out of the apartment and into the elevator. She runs out after Chucky, and the elevator starts going down. She has to take the stairs.
yeah.
So the thing is, this elevator is going down way faster than she can go down the stairs. But it seems like at every floor, she is caught up to the elevator.
Yep.
And then the next shot, the elevator's way ahead of her again. And then she's right at it again. And it goes, the continuity here, it's like when you're watching somebody drink a glass of water in a film and the level of the water goes up and down because they're doing different takes and they're not filling,
Yeah.
It's kind of that deal. So the elevator's all out of whack here. By the time she gets to the ground floor, she should be almost on top of him, but he's already out the building and around the block.
Yeah.
So this was a little goof, I think, in the film.
Well, that little sucker's fast. I mean,
Well, yeah, but
he is just running everywhere.
He's basically Usain Bolt.
Yeah,
Like, he's
yeah.
the fastest man alive.
oh my gosh.
But no, like that was bugging me because I'm like, she catches it every floor, and then it's always
Mm-hmm.
3 floors ahead of her in the next shot.
Right.
But yeah,
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So she doesn't catch up to him, but she does go after the detective, Norris, to say, "Hey, my son was telling the truth. The
Yeah.
doll is alive." And he's like, "What are you talking about?" And she shows him her arm with these big doll teeth marks. And where'd you get that? Chucky bit me. And he's like, "Oh, for God's sake, lady."
you too.
Yeah.
Fuck.
And so
This
she
family is messed up.
he dismisses her and she's getting pissed. And so she
To
decides,
be fair,
Well, yeah,
like,
I
it's
mean,
like-
come on,
it looks
I
like-
wouldn't-
It looks like a child
yeah,
bitter.
yeah,
Like,
it does.
so yeah, your psychopathic son bit you.
Yep.
Like
It's kind of hard to beat the allegations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Poor Andy. Just they're trying so hard to lock him up.
So now she decides she needs to go find the peddler that sold her the doll. And she tells the detective where she's going.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, not a good idea. And she takes off anyway. And he's like, Jesus Christ, come on. So she ends up down in this very scary part of town where no one should be alone, whether you're a man or a woman.
It's where they're like, it's one of those places where they have fires in barrels.
Yes.
That's never a good neighborhood.
No.
that's a telltale sign.
And she's got guts for going down there.
Oh, she does. I wouldn't.
Yeah. She found the peddler and he finally remembers her and she says, "I want you to tell me where you got that doll and what's going on here." And he goes, "Well, what do you have?" And she goes, "I don't have any money." "No, you have You have something.
Yeah.
And this is where it's kind of implicated.
It got real dark real quick.
Yeah, he's going to sexually assault her.
Yeah.
It was about 5 seconds there where it was real iffy.
It was
Where it's
like, yeah.
Whoa.
However, Detective Norris saves the day and
does.
shows up and pulls him off, fires the gun, and pushes all the other homeless people back, and then makes the guy talk and all this, and so yeah. So they leave after they get information from the guy, and there's a clue that is given to the detective by this peddler that makes him think. So he drops her off at her apartment. Then he goes to the police station to pull the files on Charles Lee Ray. And this is kind of a funny scene here because he gets back into his car with the file. Chucky's in the car.
Yeah. He tries to choke him.
Then he tries to stab him, and the knife is coming through the seat. Then the knife comes through the bottom of the seat right between his legs, almost gets him where he shouldn't be gotten.
No.
And he's on the gas pedal, making him go faster, and he can't brake. And it's a very, very fun scene to watch.
It's so chaotic.
It's very chaotic.
Especially when he's going under the bridge and he's like bouncing
Oh
off
my
the walls
God.
right before the crash.
Right?
So good.
Again, some more
Sparks
practical
flying.
stuff that
Oh,
looks
yeah.
so good.
It does.
It really does. It really does.
The stunt work in here, I'm like, legit. It's legit.
Yeah. Yeah. And the 80s score as well. It's really typical of an 80s horror film, the music that is in this film. And I'm not knocking it because that's what it was at the time, but
it's just a certain charm that
it
they
plays
have.
its role
Yep,
perfectly.
it totally
does
does.
exactly what it needs to do.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And it knows it,
Yep.
and it's doing it.
Yep, definitely. So it does end in a car crash. He rolls the car, and he ends up getting out. We don't see him get out because we go back now because Karen is on her way to Charles Lee Ray's house.
Yep.
His little apartment where he lived because, found out where he lived. Well, Detective Norris is already there because that's where he went. And not a scratch on him, really, from the
he
crash.
looks great.
So he looks pretty good.
Yeah, because did he not get nicked in that fight?
Well, I would think that something would have nicked him in that fight.
The knife should have.
If not the car rolling over and glass flying
Yeah.
everywhere, would have done, I would think something, but maybe not. I don't know.
The director's like, this guy's just too handsome. We can't
Don't
have
touch
him.
the face.
Yeah, do
That's
not
the
touch
money.
it.
Don't touch the face.
Yeah, like the makeup crew were like, no, we need to. It's like, don't you fucking touch it.
Right? So he startles her. He comes out of the shadows, and I don't think her reaction was big enough. I would have
No,
freaked
I would
out
have
completely.
shit my pants.
Yeah. She's
Yeah,
just
especially
kind of
that
like,
mural that's
Yeah,
back
because
there.
there's
You're
a
looking at
giant creepy ass mural in this house.
yeah, of a gentleman by the name of John Dr. Death Bishop.
So
He's
dope.
such a good name.
What a name,
man,
yeah.
I know. African-American gentleman who, this big mural is of him on the wall. He is a voodoo man.
Yep.
And this is where Charles Lee Ray learned the voodoo ritual that he performed at the beginning of the film from this guy.
Yeah.
So
All serial killers should know some voodoo.
I think
Just
so.
a little bit, right?
Yeah,
Just
it really-
a touch. Just
exactly.
to be dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just on the off chance you can, do something like this.
So they learn about John Bishop in the apartment, and now they understand that his life is probably in danger.
Well, detective also finally is like, okay, you're right.
Yeah.
Like now everyone's on the same page.
Yes. So moving forward, the detective is a believer.
It's a believer in Chuck.
in Chucky. So Chucky now, they were right, is on his way over to John Bishop's house to demand to know why he is slowly becoming more human.
Yep.
And John is startled. He's got like a coffee cup, teacup in his hand. And he's got his back to Chucky because Chucky is snuck in through the window. And he's like, "Hi, John." He turns around, drops his glass, shatters. And John tells him.
I don't think his reaction was big enough either. Like,
No,
can you
he was-
imagine
No,
looking at
I know.
To be fair, I don't think there's any reaction that should have happened there that could have worked
Yeah.
out right.
Unless
I
he
don't
just
think
like
so.
died on the spot.
Yeah, no, you just keel over right there.
Right. So he explains to him, he says, "Here's the deal. You have to transfer your soul into the very first person that you revealed your true nature to." Well, in this case, it's Andy, the 6-year-old.
Yep.
So he's laughing in disbelief that he has to do this. And now he's enraged.
Well, yeah, and like John is like pissed with Chucky too. He's being like, "You like perverted everything I taught you.
Yes.
Like this is an abomination. Like no."
Mm-hmm.
So now they're not going to be friends anymore.
No, unfortunately, they're not, because Chucky whips out a voodoo doll.
That he just has.
Yeah.
He just has one
Well,
of them.
he said something to the
Well,
fact
he
that
did, because he's
you
like,
shouldn't
something
let-
might go like kind of wrong. Like, so it definitely was him preparing in case something
Yeah.
went wrong.
Yeah. And he said, you shouldn't tell your friends where you hide these things, or something to that
Yeah.
effect. So he gets out the voodoo doll of John and starts going to work on him. What is it? His arm or his leg
He's-
first?
I think it's the leg first, because
Yeah.
then he falls on the ground and
Yeah.
then,
Okay.
and then,
Then
he
he just
snaps
starts
the arm.
snapping
and
arms.
Oh
goes
my
to
God.
town.
Ooh.
This is brutal.
This is gnarly.
And then he ends up stabbing him, I think. And so he's
Which
not.
that knife,
Yeah.
I just, that was like one of the big things I remember from watching this as a kid.
Yeah.
Is the red knife with the little white squiggle and all the little voodoo symbols on
Oh my
it.
goodness.
I
Pretty
was
dope.
obsessed with that knife. I wasn't even a knife kid growing up, but
Right.
something about that knife is just, it stuck with me, and I just love that design, and I think it's super underrated.
Did you
It's
notice,
sick.
Michael, that I hit all of the sharp objects before JC got here? So just for that
Oh,
I
reason.
will
Nice.
find them.
Yeah.
You shouldn't tell. You shouldn't tell me where you hide.
I'm glad I
your
feel
sharps.
safer now.
Good. How old were you again when you saw this one?
I must have been 3 or 4. I was still living in
That is
California
so
at the time,
wild.
and I moved when I was like 5.
That is crazy.
So,
That is crazy.
Oh, and before he dies, he does tell Chucky that the only way that he can die is through the heart, because his heart is becoming human.
Right.
So
Right.
now we know that.
with his dying breath.
Yep.
Except
Dying
he's
breath.
not quite dead yet, because Karen and Detective Norris show up
Right.
and they catch him just before he dies.
Yeah.
And he tells him, you got to get him in the heart. That's how you kill him. And then he dies. And
R.I.P.
Yeah, that is kill number 4. And then they all end up back at the hospital again.
Yeah, so Chucky now is, because you gotta go fucking kill Andy. So Andy is in this room, he's locked up, and you see him just like look out the window, and you see little Chucky is just climbing the fire escape.
Such a gremlin.
So-
Just a little goblin.
What a little shit stain. He is such a turd. But I love these shots of him just crawling up, because it looks so
Yeah,
ridiculous.
because all the other times when it's the close-ups, he's moving a little clunky, because
Yeah.
it's all animatronics and
Yeah.
whatnot. But every once in a while, they get that human actor to play him,
Yep.
and he is just, he goes nuts. He's so much faster,
Oh, yeah.
and so much more fluid. It's
it's
almost
a little
supernatural.
jarring. Yeah, it's a little jarring. But so he breaks in and he steals keys from this, I don't know, orderly's
Mhm.
office,
Mhm.
and he then goes and gets into Andy's room.
Right.
Yeah. which is-
Right.
and Andy has this great acting scene when he's like, because he sees Chucky, now he's
Yes.
panicked. He's like, he's gonna kill me. And he's just like repeating that over. He's like, he's gonna kill me.
He looks
It is-
genuinely terrified too.
It is heartbreaking.
It is.
Like, this scene is insane.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all because this kid's acting. Like, he really, really just nails it.
He really does. So we do have another kill at the hospital here. It's not Andy, but it's Dr. Ardmore. And this is a pretty cool kill, because he's trying to get Andy under control, because Andy is hysterical, and they're in the electroshock therapy room.
Yep.
That's where Andy was hiding, and that's where the doctor found him. And he's trying to wrestle control over Andy. He does not see Chucky coming up behind him, and he's got a knife, and he stabs him in the back of the, like, I guess the back of the kneecap
like a little
or the leg.
scalpel.
Yeah, scalpel. Yeah. So the doctor screams and goes down. Then he gets the little electroshock therapy hat cap headgear, puts it on him and juices him
Cranks it.
and electrocutes him. And that's where the doctor ends up, going away. And that is kill number 5, Dr. Ardmore.
This kill looks good, too.
It does.
Oh.
It does.
Yep. Starts just cuts away, comes back. He's
Yep.
darker.
Darker.
Just keeps cutting back.
Blood's coming
Blood.
out.
Oh, the blood
Yeah.
in the eyes, so good.
Oh,
Again,
yeah.
another way you know this is an 80s movie. They got all the electroshock therapy
Yeah, of course.
still set up in the mental hospital. I'm assuming it's a mental hospital, because the little girl outside also.
I think
That's why he was a
is.
little more comfortable just running around as a doll.
Right. Yeah.
Jeez. Well, he attempts to transfer his soul into Andy's body.
Yeah.
And does this happen at the hospital, or is this?
No,
they end up back at the apartment.
Yeah,
right?
it's back at the apartment.
They're back at the apartment
So-
when this happens.
So like, the logistics of Andy being like coming and going from this place don't make a whole lot of sense,
Right.
because
Because they would have left about the same time, right?
Yeah.
Because they were both in that room. And she said that he was going to follow her, the little girl that they were talking to in the
That's
hall.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he somehow beats Chucky home.
Right.
We all know Chucky's the fastest thing that's ever lived.
Yeah, he's the Flash, basically.
So
Right.
somehow he beats him home and then barricades himself in. But what, did he come around through the window? Is that how he
think
gets
so.
back into the
I
house?
think he probably did.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He has a thing for windows. I mean,
He does love
He
them.
really loves windows.
You know, he was that guy like tossing rocks at a girl's window that
Yes.
he liked.
Oh, the
that was
boombox.
definitely. Oh yeah,
The
that was
boombox.
definitely him. A hopeless romantic, really.
And it was
Bride
the
of-
80s.
That's
Yeah.
Bride of Chucky, right? Who's
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
That
Definitely
would've
that
been
movie.
The
funny.
most romantic movie of all time.
Bride of Chucky. Yeah.
Yeah. Watch it every Valentine's Day.
Exactly.
Oh my
You
God.
gotta.
Well, you have
You
to.
gotta.
Yeah. All right. So we're back in the apartment, and now he's trying to transfer his soul into Andy's body. But, Mom and the detective show up and are able to stop that from happening. And now we get into the final confrontation here. It's pretty brutal. I mean, it's
so out of control.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things happening here at once. The detective gets stabbed in the leg and
Yep.
goes down. There's all kinds of commotion going on. Andy is chased by Chucky. Mom is chased by Chucky. And
Mike gets hit in the crotch with a baseball bat.
Yep,
all the things.
There's all of that stuff going on. And finally, they start to get the upper hand on Chucky.
Karen with like an amazing shot shoots Chucky's leg off.
Yep.
And then it's kind of impressive. I'm
Yeah.
like, damn, where'd you learn to shoot like that?
Right. Yeah. And because it's the detective's gun.
Yeah.
He gives it to her to go after because he's got another little gun strapped to his ankle or something. And so he's not unarmed. Chucky ends up losing his head at one point.
He also gets
So he
Karen
starts
then
getting put in the fireplace.
Oh, that's right.
She
Yeah,
throws
he
him
goes
in and blocks him in with the the
absolutely
fireplace
feral.
cage.
That's right.
Oh yeah.
I was sitting there because I've watched the movie enough times. I was trying to just listen to what he was doing. The voice acting he's doing in this is
my
just
God.
so over the top.
Dude, it's incredible.
He's going absolutely feral.
It's and did you notice like Brad Dourif when was asked about the voice he did for Chucky, he said it's just him trying to do a Jack Nicholson voice.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
his Chucky voice.
Wow.
It's his impression of Jack Nicholson.
Wow.
Well, it makes a lot of sense
It
because that scene when they're in the bathroom and they're trying to keep blocking him from either side when he's running back and forth between the hallway and the bathroom.
Right.
He stabs through the door.
Yeah.
And they have it's super close to The Shining.
It's a
when
super
she's
like
stabbing
here's
through
Johnny.
That's true.
and she's leaning up against the door and she's like screaming. It's Shelley Duvall. It's
Oh yeah.
It's 100% that. So him trying to do a Jack Nicholson makes so much sense.
Yep.
Right. Right.
His voice is so good in this too. And like just the voice is great, but then the shit he says too.
Oh, it's
like,
classic.
If you like watch it with subtitles.
Yeah.
Because like some of the shit, you're like, oh, my word.
That's what was said.
That's not a good guy doll.
No, not at all. Not at all. So he ends up getting out of the fireplace. He's on fire. Now, here's the other problem I have with this scene. He's running around in flames. Everything should be burning at this point. There's a blanket that catches fire but doesn't burn. I mean,
No, so see what happened is they laid down a fire retardant.
Oh, is that-
all
yeah,
around the
uh-huh.
apartment? They did.
Is
yeah.
that what
You-
it is?
You must have missed that.
I must
scene.
have missed that
Yeah.
scene.
Blink and you miss it.
Because
so.
this apartment should have gone up in flames with this little fireball running through the apartment.
It's
but it
kind
doesn't.
of adorable.
Well,
Him
it
just like
is.
running around
Yeah,
on
it
fire.
is.
It's like, oh,
That's when he starts losing appendages after starting getting shot now. Yeah,
he's
you're right.
melting.
She's melting. She blows off a leg and it's still like kind of coming. And then the head gets blown off, but the body still is showing up and everything.
It's impressive. Like he takes a beating.
Yeah. And then he kind of disappears. And then the Norris's detective partner shows up.
Yeah, Jack Santos.
And he's very, of course, skeptical that any of this is really happening because Mike Norris is telling him, no, it really is true. The doll is alive. And he's like,
Just
oh,
I'm
no.
surrounded by idiots.
Yeah,
It's like, Jesus.
pretty much. So he goes out into the hallway and he's going to go look at the doll. And they tell him, don't touch it. Whatever you do, don't touch it. So he picks up the head, touches it. And he kind of like,
He's like juggling it almost,
Yeah.
just like tossing it back and forth.
yeah.
And then the body just pops out of the air vent.
Yeah, and starts attacking him, and then he's a believer too. And
How do you get in the air vent?
I don't know. How did he get anywhere?
Yeah,
I
never
mean,
mind.
so the body attacks him without the leg
Or the head.
or the head, and so he gets thrown to the wall, and that's when he gets shot in the heart. And that's we're going to call it a kill because he finally dies in this movie.
It does have a nice little blood splat, too.
It does.
Again, more blood than in
Yeah.
the beginning.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is like 3 times more blood than he does when he's a full human being getting shot multiple times.
Totally
true.
agree. Maybe he's making up for lost blood.
It's got
That's
to be
probably
that.
it.
Yeah.
It's got to be some of that voodoo magic. It's just all the same amount of blood.
Or the body is so much smaller, and so the blood is more.
It shoots more, maybe.
Yeah.
That's good
Oh.
press. We got that pressure
Yeah.
shooting out.
Okay.
Yeah, I like it.
I think we figured it out.
So he's basically been burned, shot, stabbed, dismembered.
Decapitated.
Yeah. Decapitated. Then shot in the heart.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no way you
so-
can come back from that.
Yeah, there's definitely not
That'd just be
sequels.
ridiculous.
We've never seen anything like
How
that happen.
preposterous.
Yeah.
This is a serious film.
Yeah.
Then the final shot lingers on Andy's face, hinting that the nightmare may not be truly over. But
Yeah, Andy's just
Gotta
like
love a freeze
you just
frame.
see
Oh,
his
man.
his trauma just all over his face, just staring at this heap of a doll,
Goo and
just gooey. Yeah,
char.
I do love a freeze frame ending. What
Yep.
happened to those?
yeah, I don't know.
They don't exist. I don't
That's
think.
another way you know it's an 80s
Yeah,
movie.
Yeah.
freeze frame.
Freeze frame.
They really just wanted to hit every single big thing. I mean, every 80s movie, I think they got them all.
I think they did.
Yep. I think so too. All right. My favorite final kill count, by the way, 6. So not a ton, but fun kills. I mean, for the most part. I mean,
Yeah, they're all pretty solid.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the weakest one is Maggie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
And it's
when she
still
first
good,
gets
though.
bonked in the head, I still laugh every time I see it. It's something so comedic
It's
about the first
pretty
bonk.
Yeah.
And then
Three
she just kind of
Stooges.
stumbles back. The car part, when she hits the car, that part is pretty
great.
cool.
That's
but
cool.
If that's the worst kill in the movie,
It's
you got
pretty
some pretty
solid.
good kills.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Favorite scene? It's the car scene with Chucky and Detective Norris when he's stabbing through the seats
That's
and
fair.
the car chase and everything else.
So my favorite character is Andy. He breaks my heart. I just love him.
Yeah.
And then favorite scene has got to be the finale. I just love how absolutely crazy it is. They're so feral in it. I love it. I love it. And then favorite kill has got to be. I'm gonna go with the voodoo guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is also my favorite kill. And then my favorite character actually is Chucky.
I mean,
I mean,
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
hard. It's hard to beat.
that's
All right.
hard to be. Yeah, that's fair.
JC, favorite character.
Favorite character? I'm going to pull one out here. I think I'm going to go with Jack Santos.
Oh.
I just, every time he's on a scene, he's always just like, they'll say something about the doll. He's like, what do I know about a doll? And just taking the piss over and over.
Yeah.
And then when he finally, he's like, you guys were right. And he's just got you could see the little tiny handprints around his neck. And he's like, who's going to believe me now?
Yeah,
It's like,
that's
what,
right.
just you guys? Everyone thinks you guys are already crazy.
I can't sit at your crazy table. Like,
And for me, favorite kill, it's such a toss up between the witch doctor, voodoo guy, and the electroshock therapy.
yeah.
I
both
think
good.
I gotta go with Mr. John Bishop there. It's too good.
That's solid.
Just the way the arms break and limbs,
Yep.
fantastic.
Yep. Star grade, 4.5 for me.
I think that's what I gave it.
4.5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually went a little low. I went 3.5.
Ooh.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
I think it does exactly what it needs to. If I'm talking all of my favorites, I like mine to do a little bit. One of my 5 out of 5s is going to be House of a Thousand Corpses,
Okay.
which is a little different.
Yeah.
I like a little bit of camp, but I also like it a little gory. I just feel like I needed a little something more out of it.
Okay.
That's fair.
I could push it to a 4, but I think I'm going to stick at my 3.5.
I think you should push it to a 4.
All right, you convinced me.
There we
I'll
go.
do it.
All right.
There it
There
is.
it is.
pushover.
Hey. Peer pressure.
I mean, it's a great movie. You
It
can't
is.
go wrong. I got to watch it every couple years. So.
Now, how do you feel about the 2 sequels in the original trilogy?
2 is pretty good. I think 3 is the one I watched the least. I don't know what it is, but I love the end. I don't know if you guys are ever going to do it again, but the end scene in 3, there's something with a big fan, and that is just fantastic.
The whole ending of 3, like that last set piece,
Yes.
is bonkers.
It's so over the top, and it definitely shows where the rest of the series leads.
Yeah,
where
you
it
can
just-
tell where it
they
would pick up.
completely just ditch the whole horror aspect. It's just kind of creepy and then weird slapstick, gross, horny humor.
Yeah.
Especially with seed of Chucky. Oh,
my
my
God.
God. Doll jizz. You actually see it.
That one's a rough one, but I've still seen it probably too many times.
I mean, it's still a dumb, fun watch.
It is.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think there's really a bad Chucky movie.
No.
Did you watch the one with Mark Hamill?
Okay. I like that one.
See, I
Not
think
gonna
the
lie.
concept was close. There's just something about it that irked me, and I was talking to my roommate about it, and he was 100% right. It's that the kid is too old. He's like 14 or something. It's like when I was 14, I would have punted this thing.
Yeah.
Easily. Like I would have
Yeah,
been able to
that's
defend
fair.
myself a little bit better. He has more weapons at his disposal in the new one. He's AI. AI's scary.
I just think because if you're going to do a reboot, do something different. So, like, I appreciated
Yes.
that they didn't just rehash it.
No, I think the AI aspect was great. I hated the look of the doll.
You did? Okay, I thought he was so cute.
I
Like,
wouldn't
I kind of
wouldn't say
wanted
that,
one. I kind of
but
wanted one.
I just something about it. Just I was like, I feel like it was so close. You just need to tweak it just a little.
Yeah, just
bit.
a little.
Just a bit.
But
That's fair.
huge Mark Hamill fan. I think his voice was about as good of a direction as you can go, trying to kind of be adjacent
Yeah, for sure.
to the original. But there's just a couple things about that movie that just didn't set well with me. So I would say that is definitely the worst one. That or Seed of Chucky. One of those two,
That's fair.
but two very different movies.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Very different
definitely.
movies.
Coming up next, we have your scare preview. First, though, if you have not checked out Jaunty Haunts, you need to do so. Our friend Courtney hosts this podcast all about the supernatural. Courtney, the self-proclaimed seer who, after 30 years of keeping it quiet, is finally sharing her secret with the world. She sees ghosts.
Each episode, she dives into eerie encounters, true tales of the seen and the unseen, and even welcomes guests to share their own experiences with the paranormal. It's spooky, it's funny, and, it's relatable.
Very much so. So whether you're a skeptic or a believer, you will find something to love. You can listen to Jaunty Haunts wherever you get your podcasts. You won't want to miss it. We need to have Courtney back on our podcast again.
We do.
She's due.
Yeah, I think so.
She did The Woman in Black with us earlier in the year.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah. She's got a great podcast going. So scare preview time, and this is the portion of the podcast where we tell you about some movies coming up that we are very, very excited about. So mine is Return to Silent Hill. And
They're making another one?
they are doing another one. It's going to be released November 21st when a mysterious letter calls him back to Silent Hill in search of his lost love. James finds a once recognizable town and encounters terrifying figures, both familiar and new, and begins to question his own sanity. It's directed by Christopher Gans, who directed the original movie. This is a standalone, not to be considered a sequel to the other movies. So,
I haven't seen a single Silent Hill movie.
really,
Yeah.
I think you would like it.
You think so?
I think so. You should
Okay.
check it out. Yeah.
All right. So mine is The Surrender, and this one's coming out really soon, May 23rd. It's going to be dropping exclusively on Shudder. And it's going to be an occult horror. It stars Colby Menifee. She's from The Boys, and Kate Burton from Grey's Anatomy. And there stars a daughter and mother duo, kind of not really getting along because they recently lost their father. And things get a little bit crazy when the mom hires someone to try to resurrect her husband from the dead. So maybe a little Pet Cemetery vibes going on. We'll see.
I like that.
Yep.
Very cool. Anything excited that you're excited about, JC, maybe coming out this year?
I don't watch movies. I've never watched a single movie.
Only Child's Play.
That's the only one because it was
Yes.
scarred so much.
Right.
It's the only way I can get over my trauma.
That's fair.
That is funny.
Just got to face it.
Yep. All right. So that wraps it up. JC, thank you so much for coming and talking
Yes,
Child's
Brian,
Play
thank
with
you
us.
so much. And Michael,
Yeah, thank you.
It's been fantastic.
It was blast.
So next week's episode, we're going to be tackling a movie from 2017 called The Ritual.
Ooh, sounds spooky.
Sounds very spooky.
Yeah, we're gonna have a little guest as well on that one.
Yep,
So
that'll be fun.
Should be fun.
Yeah. So subscribe and like us.
Yeah, we're on all the social medias.
Absolutely.
YouTube. Yeah. You can also email us if you have a suggestion, thought, comment, openingkillpod@gmail.com.
We'd love to hear from you. So you want to suggest a film for us to do?
Yeah.
Please.
We'll listen.
Maybe. Now we'll listen.
Depends.
Depends on how nice you are.
That and if your suggestion is something I want to watch.
Right, that's true too. Awesome. All right, again, thank you to JC. Michael and I will be back next week with The Ritual.
The Opening Kill podcast is hosted by Michael Duran and Brian O'Connor. It's produced by Mystic Cloud Productions. Thanks for listening. And don't forget to subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere you listen to your favorite podcasts. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram too. Join us next Thursday for a brand new episode.